Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today, the title is correct, we're getting even more changes to the economy just a little over half a year after the economic rework went live. Now, the economic rework, for those of you that weren't around for that, the changes that happened there were more along the lines of how the cosmetics of the game interact with the economy. They separated the camos and the economic bonuses that were normally associated with those camos into two separate things. Now we have camos that do nothing and economic bonuses that increase the amount of credits, XP, and such that we earn on our ships. They also, of course, changed up the whole system involving the bonuses and such. These changes are more fundamental changes to the way that the economy rewards you for your actions in game. So, in my opinion, this is potentially a bigger change than what happened with the economic rework. Now, before we get into the video, guys, if you do find yourself enjoying this video, make sure you drop a like and leave a comment. It helps out with the algorithm side of things here on YouTube. Speaking of the algorithm side of things, if you guys wouldn't mind going and checking out yesterday's video, I don't know what the hell happened with the algorithm or whatever, but that video did beyond poor for the way that my videos have been performing recently. I don't know if the algorithm was having an off day, YouTube decided it didn't want to send out the notifications, or whatever, but it was far below the channel average for a normal video's performance. So if you guys wouldn't mind, go check out that video. It's a very entertaining replay that was sent in by a viewer. It's a really great Kitakazi game, and yeah, I'd greatly appreciate that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on into today's video. I will put a link in the description down below to this DevBlog. Any relevant images or artwork will be thrown up on screen as we go through it. But if you would like to read along as I read aloud, link to that is down below. Let's go ahead and get on into it. Released on Valentine's Day, or the correct holiday known as Bismarck Launch Day, changes to combat economy, closed testing 12.2. We're providing an overview of planned changes to economic rewards related to performance in battle. The economic rewards granted for accumulating spotting damage have been increased to the same level as the rewards given for dealing direct damage with main armament types. So that right there, just that first sentence, is a huge plus in my mind, especially for DDs, stealthy cruisers, and carriers. And going forward with any other economic changes that you would have planned wargaming, maybe unplanned economic changes, any type of increase to these support actions in game is a good thing in my mind, because right now it doesn't feel like the game rewards you very well for that. I mean, there's matches in like a Battleship, in like GK or the Yami, where I'll tank 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 million potential damage. Sometimes, depending upon how many angry little cruisers are on the other side of the game, or how many CVs are on the other side of the team in the game. And, you know, because I'm having to deal with that, or dodging submarine torpedoes, obviously my guns aren't in the fight that much. And, yeah, I'm on the lower end for damage done, but, like, for potential damage, for tank damage, you know, my numbers are through the roof. And I get, like, mediocre rewards for that, even though I took all those shells and torpedoes away from my team because the enemy team was focusing on me. So any type of rewards that get increased for those supportive actions, I think, are great and are long overdue. And will, of course, well, hopefully would, of course, increase those actions being performed in-game. Of course, you can change and retool all of whatever that you want, but at the end of the day, people are going to do what they are going to do, and that's something that not only the Warships devs have talked about, but I've seen other video game devs talk about the same topic, how they try to encourage XYZ playstyle, but the players are still going to do 1, 2, 3 no matter what. But yes, anything that would encourage that, like increasing the reward for spotting damage, is great. So, first sentence, great one to start on with. Let's see how the rest goes. This change takes away the weight of having to decide between increasing your own personal earnings, helping your team achieve better results by giving fair rewards for the latter. There you go, Wargaming. You can evaluate the damage inflicted by your teammates using your spotting in the post-battle stats screen, a feature added in Update 12.0. There you go. To balance this adjustment, oh no, and keep average earnings on a similar level, oh no, Wargaming, the reward for dealing direct damage, spotting torpedoes, as well as earning spotted and defended ribbons have been reduced. What? Rewards for earning potential damage were reduced. No, I was just talking about this. Rewards for earning potential damage were reduced for battleships. Rewards for spotting ships and torpedoes are now equal for all ship What? Wargaming, why? You started out so well. Man, and they don't mention, at least not in this paragraph, how much this is being reduced? Okay, so dealing direct damage, spotting torpedoes, as well as earning spotted and defended ribbons have been reduced. But how much? I would imagine since it's direct damage, spotting torps, spotted and defended ribbons, that's 4 actions. So it can't be that much per action, I would imagine. God, they really said, yeah, battleships, the thing that you're good at doing, yeah, screw you. Giant middle finger to battleships there. And, like, okay, I could see reducing that for DDs. I'm not saying they should. I'm saying if they said we're reducing for DDs, because DDs do a ton of spotting, or CVs. CVs do a crap ton of spotting, and obviously having the spotting damage for CVs and DDs be the same as doing damage to ships, that's obviously a lot of income for those two classes. So for DDs and CVs, sure. Cruisers and battleships, on the other hand, they aren't that stealthy. I mean, there are some stealthy cruisers in this game, don't get me wrong, but for battleships, who's spotting like a few million damage in like a GK or a Kremlin? I don't know, a few million, what, 100,000? I don't really pay attention to how much spotting damage I do in my battleships, because it's really not that much, because typically you don't get that reward in battleships. The way that it works, unless they've changed it, and of course they could have, but I've been playing this game for a few years now, but the way that it works is that the first ship that spots them gets that spotting damage, and that's usually, of course, DDs or CVs. Why? DDs are stealthy, CVs have planes that go 200 knots. So obviously they have to continue to spot them. So let's say a Shimakaze is shadowing Montana, a Kremlin, or GK, whatever. They're staying within that ship's detection range. They were the first ones to spot them, and since they're spotting them, they get the spotting damage, even if like another ship or two moves into their detection range. You have the first ones there, the first one spotting them, they get the spotting damage. Battleships typically aren't the first ships in the game to spot somebody, unless you're a Suicidal Georgia or something like that. But man, so a buff that's going to help DDs and CVs a lot has now led to a nerf that's going to hurt the income on battleships. Man. And it's not just the potential damage too. The damage from, the damage is getting reduced for dealing direct damage, spotting torpedoes. Now, spotting torpedoes, that's something that battleships do a pretty decent amount of, because of course the torpedo boats, the Shimikazes, always launch the wall of skills at battleships that are, alone and such. So when you spot 15 Shimikaze torpedoes, of course that's a bit of income for you. So, alright, let's see how this goes. The economic rewards granted for dealing damage with secondary armaments have also been increased to be on par with the rewards for dealing direct damage with main armament types. Thus, the average earning for battleships whose gameplay is weighted toward using the secondary battery will increase to the same levels as other battleships. So, that helps with, like, the GK, the Ohio, the Georgia, and of course the other secondary battleships. I don't think it's going to make up for... Well, yeah, it's not going to make up for the nerf to potential damage, because it's going to the same as main battery damage, which is getting reduced now. But, I mean, still, since beforehand it wasn't being counted as, doing damage with your main battery, obviously that's going to help a bit, I think, overall. Will it be enough to offset that damage reduction? I don't think so. I'm sorry, the reduction for doing damage and potential damage. I don't think so. So, yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if you included this some time ago, but yeah, and of course the ships that don't have mountains of secondaries or accurate secondaries, they're just screwed either way now. Ah, man. Alright, the last paragraph down here. The average XP and credit earnings for some ship types and tiers have been slightly changed. The goal of this change is to minimize the differences in average earnings of all ship types at the same tier. Previously, the differences at high tiers could be as high as 10%, but now they have been reduced to 2%. Oh. Most noticeable changes will occur to tier 5 to 7 battleships. They will receive up to 5% fewer credits, as well as tier 5 to 9 destroyers whose credit and XP yields will increase by 1 to 3% depending upon the tier. The profitability of supercarriers and supercruisers has also been reduced. They will now receive 8% less XP and 6% fewer credits. Wow, okay, so this sounds bad, and I mean, you are losing credits, so it is bad, but it's not quite as bad as it does sound. Tier 5 to 7 battleships, 5% fewer credits, so just to be perfectly clear, that does suck. However, it's tier 5 to tier 7. You don't really have credit problems at tier 5 to 7. 7, that's when you start to get into the you gotta have a pretty decent game to make money without premium time. But when I first started playing this game, so before I was the player that I am today, and to be clear, I'm not some super unicum, I'm average. You can look at my stats; they are painfully average, with a little bit better stats than battleships. But before I had any of that, I was going up the American battleship line. The only time I had any issues with credits was when I got to tier 8. Okay, and until now, that hasn't been changed. Tier 1 to tier 7, I didn't have problem making credits. And this is before I even had premium time. I didn't get premium time until later on. So, as much as it does suck that you're losing 5% credits, you still shouldn't have too many issues with earning credits at tier 5 to 7. Especially with the way that matchmaking is now, because tier 7 ships have a little bit better matchmaking because tier 9s are getting yoinked into super ship battles, so tier 7s see more tier 8 battles than they do tier 9, so that's typically a lot better for them than back in the day. Okay, so what did they say before that? The average XP and credit earnings for some ship types, the goal is to minimize the differences in average earnings of all ship types, reduced to 2%. So it sounds like they're just trying to, I mean, like they said, average out the earnings. So, yeah. I don't know what their obsession is with trying to make everything average across the board. I mean, obviously, destroyers, I mean, they do a lot more supportive roles. They cap, they spot, they do damage. They do that typically more often than battleships. Again, like I talked about with the spotting damage and then the capping, battleships don't do that as much, so those things are pretty generous rewards, so naturally they are going to have a higher income. So, man, now supercarriers, supercruisers losing 8% XP and 6% fewer credits. Again, they were up front with the super ships. They're not meant to make credits. You're meant to lose credits on them unless you have a great game, and yeah, it makes sense that they're still tanking the economy for those things right now. So, overall, started out really well, Wargaming, with that first sentence. I'm not too much of a fan of saying, yeah, you get more income from spotting, but now we're going to tank pretty much every way else that you make credits and XP in this game. That's, God. I'm not a big fan of it. I think with like DDs, it'll be fine because, again, they're the guys doing the spotting. Same with CVs. Battleships, I think, are going to hit the hardest with this, and that sucks. And it seems like they're just, again, trying to make it even harder to earn credits in the game. But again, this time it seems particularly targeted at battleships for whatever reason that is. So, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a wonderful Thursday. If you did enjoy it, again, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 50,000 subs, thanks to you guys, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. Hope you have a wonderful Thursday, wonderful rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.